I mean, I truly can't even believe that this gun was $200. That blows my mind. So everyone's on a budget. Whatever your budget is your budget. And that's okay. But if you're truly looking for a budget firearm, especially something that has history and time behind it, you know it's going to be reliable. You know it's not just a one-off that might be a fluke, hit or miss. Well, Ruger's been making phenomenal firearms for, since the dawn of time. And all of our .22 rifles have been phenomenal. I've never had any issues with a Ruger firearm. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that the Ruger LCP-1 Davidson Customs are easily one of my favorite handguns of all time. I've got a few of them. This happens to be the first one I ever purchased. It's got great usable sights. The skeletonized trigger is really, really nice. It shoots very well. It's crisp, and I can get a nice, good grip on it. I don't even need the pinky on it. It's such a good grip. It is snappy, but recoil is manageable. But enough about the LCP. In walks the Ruger EC9s, and everybody says, well, this is just a subpar, cheap firearm. Well, it really wasn't. The LC9s was such a great gun that when the EC9s came out, with some minor differences, I was tempted between the two. Ultimately, I found a deal on a very lightly used, if not practically never used, EC9s. I pulled the trigger, no pun intended, actually pun intended. And it has definitely turned out to be a very phenomenal firearm that has been reliable so far. Now, if you haven't caught the video already, I point out a lot of the differences here in the EC9s versus the LC9s comparison show. But I found this EC9s at my local firearms dealer, my FFL right here, JW Firearms. Phenomenal guys in there. Love them to death. That's my cheers if you remember the show. And as I was looking through the glass in the used section to see what we could find, I saw this. A practically brand new EC9s with a box, and how many did we get? I don't even remember how many we got. This many. Plus the pinky extension in it. We got 3 extended mags and 3 pinky extension mags. 6 mags total, and a box, and I got it for $200 plus tax and FFL fees and so forth. I came home right away, took it apart, cleaned it. It was like it was never shot before. I mean, it really had no signs of being shot. Yes, it's completely empty. And I don't usually have anything with a manual safety on it. In fact, I don't have any handguns with a manual safety besides this. I've gotten rid of all the other ones because it's just not something I want in my process. But I was willing to put up with it to try the EC9s. Gave it a try, took it to the range. It was phenomenal. Awesome. Comfortable to shoot. Ran through all different kinds of ammo, from nice high-end to dirty, cheap, crappy ammo. It ate through all of that ammo. Now, the EC9s is a single-stack 9, and I've got to tell you, if you are used to an LCP like I am, it'll feel like home. The structure of the frame is essentially the same. As you can see, there's pretty much just no differences. It's just a larger version of an LCP-1. The trigger has been pretty impressive. It's been definitely better than I was expecting. Everything is comfortable. Everything is easy to use. There's no front serrations, which I prefer having front serrations, but the spring, and I'm sure this is a stock spring, but the spring in it is very light or fairly light. Recoil is manageable. This is my hand on it. I wear a size large glove. It's not that large. Here's my hand with an LCP-1. And although the sights are milled into the receiver, where the LC9s has, I believe, a removable dovetail in the rear and a white dot in the front, this has been very easy to shoot. Very easy to attain a sight line. And I've got no complaints about it. It is what it is, and it's way, way more than you would expect in a $200 handgun. Now, I've shot some Skies, and I've shot some High Point, and Taurus, and Bursa, and I've shot all the cheaper handguns. And in fact, I carried a Bursa BP9C, or whatever that was, for quite some time. And that was a great handgun as well. But I believe I paid $330 or something like that for it years ago. Obviously, it's been long gone. But for $200, and you can find the EC9s all over the place used for $200 to $250. This is definitely one of your better options, especially over something like the High Point or the Sky. A Ruger EC9s is going to be far more reliable than a Sky or a High Point or something of that nature. So I really can't encourage you any more than I'm trying to consider the EC9s. This is not a paid or sponsored video. I'm just telling you from my experience with this firearm that it is far more reliable than a lot of the other cheap options. So the Ruger EC9s is definitely my recommendation if you are down in that $200 to $250, let's say sub $300 range. Now, when you get into the used category, there's certainly more options. If you really wait for the right firearm, if you hunt and dig around, you'll find a lot of decent options for around $300. Beretta and Taurus definitely have a couple cheaper options that are worth considering, but still, around $200, I don't know if you can beat the EC9s.